Hey, Travis, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
So I've been in medical devices for 14 years now.
Wow.
Spent most of my time in the GI world. I've done a lot of startup companies as well as the big gorillas in the room, if you want to call them. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been in my sales career.
That's a hard sale, isn't it?
It's a very hard sell.
Yeah.
Capital sales is not easy, especially in today's climate. Um, no one has money. You know, you walk through the palaces of the big hospitals with the nice marble floors, but they can't afford the new equipment. And
Wow.
especially in these times of COVID, it's tough. It's tough for everybody, and I understand that. So it's a tough sale.
So, have you figured a way around that, or?
Um, Creating the need. I know
Yeah.
that sounds cliche. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. If you can create that need, then that's how you get around those obstacles, in my opinion.
And how do you do that?
Um, Understand what the customer wants and needs.
Yeah.
You can't just go in and say, "Hey, your scope's 10 years old. Time to buy a new one." Well, maybe they don't need a new scope. What is their I hate saying pain point because that just sounds like
Cliche. Yeah.
it's a cliche pain thing, but you need to find out what is it that they need. Maybe they don't need the whole upgrade for the entire hospital. Maybe it's, "Hey, you know what? We need new interventional scopes." So then you create that need. And then once those new interventional scopes come in the hospital, it turns into, well, you know what? We have new interventional scopes. We probably need our, the scopes for the other lab as well. So
And
it's just finding. Oh, I'm sorry.
so it's an in-person sale.
Oh yeah, everything's face to face
Yeah.
with the N95, of course.
Yeah. But they're still willing to meet you.
Oh well, they are, and that comes with relationship building. Not everyone can just walk into a lab, but being in the territory, 14 years and creating that trust. I'm part of the team. I'm not just the rep. I also, if they, something happens and they need help, that's why I'm in my car right now. Um, you go and you help them out. Like, hey, gosh, we're not getting an image on our monitor. 9 times out of 10, it's a cable that they can just go screw in the back. But when I show up, you know,
It's a good reason to
I'm an
talk.
asset
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, exactly.
So you don't turn them down.
Never. Nope.
So you're on the road a lot.
Every day. And that's why I'm gray here as well
Yeah. Well,
and bald.
they don't have any traffic in Atlanta, do they?
Oh, never, never. No, no. Just 8 lanes. But, but yeah, but no, it's I never say no, and if I can't be there today, I'll be there tomorrow. Always. And it doesn't matter how little the issue is. It doesn't matter if it's one of my accounts that has 15 rooms of equipment or it's a mom and pop that has one room. I'm going to go and I'm going to help them.
And what do you think separates you from less successful salespeople?
What I just said.
That, yeah.
There's a lot of people overcomplicate this job. They want to think bigger than the room and, oh well, if your cabling's out, just go. No, show your face. And it's, man, a perfect example is today. There's a little account I'm working on, and they're one of the last. They haven't joined a big private equity firm. They haven't. They're just a little tiny a husband and wife that run this little lab. And when they spend money, it means something to them.
Yeah.
And I know that. Now, a lot of guys will be like, "Yeah, it's not worth my time. I'm not going to make money, and what I'm going to make, X dollars, and I'm not going to make it again for another 5 years." They'll figure it out. Not me, not me. And what separates me is that doctor also goes to the hospital across the street, and that hospital has a lot of money. And when they need something, who's he going to call first? The
Yeah.
guy that helps them across the street for nothing. And that does separate me.
Yeah. It's kind of like you build up an ecosystem.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And,
It's not
and,
just
and
one autonomous client.
it's a small world. The medical device, it's a small world. And if you get the rep of the guy that doesn't do stuff or the gal that doesn't do stuff, people know and they talk. And these doctors all talk.
That's it, because people think it's like a committee, but it's more like a loose federation of people in the industry, birds of a feather.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And we all know reps. There's reps out there that I see in the field and I'm like, "Oh, here comes you know who." And you see them once a year when you need something, and it's and the doctors know that, and they roll their eyes and they joke. And we're sales guys, and a lot of people, even my wife will make fun of us like, "Oh, you're a sales guy," but people don't realize what we go through on a daily basis. They think we just smile, shake hands, and get a lot of money. And that's not it at all.
Yeah.
We get beat up more. I mean, we get that one win every couple months, and that sets us for the next couple months. And then you stress out, and you know, every year it's like you had a great year last year, yeah, but down to zero this year, back
Yeah.
at it. And my doctors appreciate that for me, the people that I work with, because they know how hard it is. And they'll ask me, hey, do you need anything? I can call in favors if I need it, and that's a great place to be.
Right. And I think people always talk about relationships, but they're not willing to make the investment. It's transactional. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction.
You hit the nail on the head. It's funny. The company I work for, it used to not be direct reps. It used to be distributors, which nothing against distributors, but they've got 5 different products they're trying to bring out. And it's once you sell it, thank you, see you again, see you later. I got to move on to the next. And it's not their fault. That's just the business they're in. And then my company figured out, well, maybe that's why we're not growing.
Yeah.
Duh. So why don't we invest into direct people and let them grow our name and our brand? And that's what's happened to us. I mean, our company's exceeded numbers 3 years in a row now since they went to that system, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Because everyone would like it to work the way it does in the boardroom, but it never does. It's like,
No,
do this number of calls, this number of demos, this number of quotes.
it's when I first got into sales out of college. Um, I worked for a really tiny farm. I mean, when I mean small pharmaceutical company, I used to go to pharmacies and beg for them to put my stuff on their shelf.
Yeah.
And it was, you have to make 10 calls a day and get 10 signatures this day. Well, what does that mean? What if I just went to one place and had a great meeting and that doctor wrote my script? But I was like, this just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't matter how many demos you do. It's all about, like we talked in the beginning, creating that need and finding out maybe someone doesn't need something now, but you still got to go see them. You still got to create that because at some point they're going to need it.
That's it. And if you show up, just say, hey, I just check out the equipment. Not
That's
here
it.
to pitch you anything.
Listen, there's places, when I first started, I went to a competitive account because it was close to my house. And all I wanted to do was watch procedures and understand what the doctor was doing. And I never talked business. I was like, I'm not here to sell you. And that doctor, who shall remain nameless, would say, look, the other stuff's better. It is what it is. Say, that's great. Just teach me. I want to know what you're. So I learned anatomy through him, and we forged that bond. Well, fast forward 10 years, got all his business now because our product got better. And he remembered that time where I just wanted to learn and I wasn't there to just sell him. But when he needed something, he gave me a shot.
Yeah.
And that you got to do. You can't just be the, what can I get you today? No, it's, how can I help you? Maybe I can call the other rep if you need something because I'm here.
Right. And do you get any pushback from management about this style?
Not really. No,
No.
it's your numbers talk for themselves, right? So
Yeah.
if I didn't have sales, then I'd probably push back. But it works. It works. And I think I've been in my career for some time now. I think the hand holding is gone. It's more of, and my manager is phenomenal, and it's more of, what can I do for you today? How can I help you? You're out in the field. Is there a quote I can do for you from the house? Is there, something I need to fight behind the scenes? That's what I need help with management. And that's what they do, which is fantastic. I need additional discount. Let me fight that battle for you. Great.
And what keeps you in this space? Because I'm sure you've gotten offers or
Lunacy,
opportunities.
lunacy. Cause
Lunacy.
no, I enjoy it, man. I love, walking into working with the doctors. I love helping people. And
Yeah.
honestly, when my scopes can benefit someone, man, that's a pretty cool feeling. It really is. And when I did my startup, we would find buried cancer. And that was so cool. Like to be like, man, look what we found that could have not been found before. I love it. I really truly do. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah. And is that what motivates you? Is kind of helping people or applying technology to solving health problems?
Of course, that's
Yeah.
part of it. We're in sales, so of course money motivates, right? You
Yeah.
want to, and that's, you'd be lying if you said it didn't. So that's part of it. But yeah, helping people is a huge part. When my daughter, when she tells people, when she was little, she would tell people I'm a doctor, which I'm not. But it was cool when she had pride saying, well, my dad goes and helps people every day, which is pretty sweet, man. It's fun. And when I pick her up from school and I have my scrub bottoms on, it's like my daughter has pride in what I do, and it's motivating to see my family be able to, create the life we live. And they respect what I do. And so do my, friends, they think
Yeah.
what I do is pretty cool. So I like it.
Well, it's good because, the why, the mission, the purpose, if you're not aligned with that, then it's a job versus maybe a calling is too strong of a word for what it is, but
It's a good career and I
yeah.
enjoy what I do. It's not a job, right? We've had jobs before where, oh, I gotta wake up and make the donuts. It's not it, man.
Time to make the
And
donuts.
and one of the cool things about what I do is every day is different.
That's
It's
true.
something different every single day. Like again, in my car, because I got a call, I need help this morning. I went and did it. That didn't happen yesterday, and tomorrow's going to be different too. And whatever's on my calendar, that doesn't mean anything. It's all going to change, and I like that. I really do. Being able to think on your feet and make quick decisions, I guess it's fun.
Yeah. You're not an office guy.
Oh, no, 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 no. That's I've been offered management positions before in my career, and I'm not ready for it. I like carrying a bag. It's fun,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
I don't want to deal with 8 of me.
I meant more just the stationary desk
Oh,
jockey type thing.
no, that's that would never work for me.
But how do you stay productive? Because being on the road, just the point to point stuff takes
Mhm.
focus and concentration and
There's an office day. You got to have office days where
right.
you do sit down there and I had a former manager that used to call me the email machine because it was a joke because I would copy on him every email. And that's one thing that I do that's probably neurotic, but I blind copy myself in every email I send and I put it in a little folder. So when I go back to that folder, I can be like, okay, what did we talk about last time? What did I say last time I sent an email to this customer? And what did they respond to? And I know that sounds silly, but for me, it's great. That's the way I do it, man.
Well, everyone says, well, what CRM do you use? And I go, 90% of the time I use my calendar and my email.
That's it.
That's all I do.
I
And it's
mean,
like,
I
how do you
have
keep track of it? I go, I flag them. I search
yes,
for their name.
I'm the same exact way. I go into my little search bar and I go, okay, what did we talk about last time? And
Right.
yes, do I have Salesforce? We have Salesforce. Everyone has Salesforce. It's a good to keep track of quotes. It's good for my numbers and planning. I get it, but I'm not going to log a call because it's easier to go to my email on my phone. Oh, what did I talk about last time?
Right. And
But
if your
companies
company
spend a
wants
lot
to
of money.
spy on you, they have access to it, right?
Have at it. Have
Right.
at
Go
it.
nuts.
I have nothing to hide.
I just never understood that. It's like, why copy it from your inbox into your CRM?
It's here's the deal, and I get it. Companies spend a lot of money on Salesforce,
Yeah.
and you got to use it. I get it. And again, when it comes to tracking numbers, makes all the sense in the world.
Forecast. Yeah.
Quotes, forecasting, absolutely. But when it comes to my daily communication, no, I can't. I'm not going to do it here, here, and here. I do it my email. I have a day. I'll send out a ton of emails. I'll get my responses, and that's how I plan my activities for the week.
Yeah. Do you ever use your camera roll as a CRM too? Take a picture of the building where you are at that time or where you had lunch?
So no, but now you got me on something. Remember here? That's pretty cool. I
Why do
haven't.
you get in the habit of like take a picture of your odometer when you leave in the morning and when you come back at night for your mileage?
Well, I have to do that anyways because
Yeah.
now we company cars we have to report it. So like yesterday was 342 miles. You
Wow.
know, and oh yeah, well, two different parts of the state. I had to go to one part and the other part, and I usually don't like to do that because it seems like a lot of waste of time in the windshield. But yesterday it made sense. It made sense to do it, so I did it. Usually I pick a pocket of Atlanta, and that's where I'm going to focus my day
Yeah.
and do that and go from there. And that's how I do my emails. All right, well, I've got these 6 places right next to each other. Let's focus on what we need to do at each place.
And are you good driving and making calls or is that too much?
Thank God for Apple CarPlay. It's
Yeah.
no plug, sorry, but it's great. It's great, man. I'm able to talk and do it and do what I need to do. And that's where I get a lot of my you know, like I talked about my manager, I'll call him, hey, I just met with so and so. Here's what I have to do next. If you're not busy, can you do it for me? And he'll do it. He'll be like, hey, I got it, man. He
Yeah.
sits he calls it the control center, and he'll knock it out for me. He'll go into Salesforce and adjust a quote and send it over, and then I can flip it on instead of me having to pull over, get into the laptop, do all this. So,
And most medical people are morning people, right?
oh
They
yeah,
they
oh yeah,
usually have first operations at 6 a.m. or something, right?
yep. 6:30 this morning, we were up and at it. Yeah. Well, and that's what's funny too. So my buddy's like, man, it's 3 o'clock. What are you doing? I've been up since 6.
Well,
I'm going to pick the kids up. We're good.
oh,
But that also, and you know what's funny? That's different regionally. Like up in the Northeast, a lot
is
of my
it?
counterparts, they're working till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night doing procedures. Down south, now they want to get home for their supper, and
Yeah.
they, you know, it's different.
Well, that's it. And if you can do that, because that allows you the rest of the day to do other stuff.
Well, and you got to have the work-life balance. Again, cliche, but it's true, man. And I truly enjoy being able to pick my kid up from school and play with my son, and still get out and work in the morning. It's that's a big part of it, man. You can't put
Yeah.
a price tag on that stuff.
And when you see other reps in your space, what do you see them doing wrong? What do you?
Overcomplicating,
Yeah.
overcomplicating the process. They want to outsmart the room, and they want to use big words, and oh, I'm a sales consultant. Look, man, relax. You know, and but people want to do that. They want to overcomplicate things. I'm not that smart, so I can't overcomplicate things. But some people, they just, I don't know what it is, and they get bogged down in spreadsheets, and they're trying to do the shell game to make. I'm like, just be honest.
Yeah.
And like, I don't, when I go into deals with customers, when I know what I think, I ask them, where do we need to be? Just tell me where you need to be. It's kind of like when I go to do anything that I need to do around the house. We just did a renovation of my house. Here's where I want to be. Tell me if you can get there. If you can get there, let's work with each other. If you can't, let's move on. But a lot of salespeople just want to overcomplicate that entire process, man.
Well, they're looking for the magic words. The the hand motion that will trick the customer into signing now.
Just don't do it. Like, what do I got to do to put you?
To
No.
put you in this radiator today.
Yeah. But come on. So that's what I see other reps do, and I let them do it. Like, let them fall over themselves, and then come in and just, I can help you. If we want
Well,
to work with each other, let's do it.
well, that's it. I get a lot of clients who are like in the advertising business, and they get into that pitch and compete in the beauty contest, and they don't know how to control the process. I go, do some work for them pro bono.
Yeah, throw it out there, and then
Engage
tell
with
them
them on it.
that, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. And kind of like what we do. That's one thing about medical, which is different, right? Because we're regulated, so you can't really here try this for free because you get a lot of trouble. Which is, I don't know if you, I'm sure you know that, but it's just different. But a demo is free. Like, hey, let me just show you what we can do.
Right. Get your feedback.
Yeah. Hey, if these scopes work for you, when you're ready, call me. Call me. I'm here for you, man.
Because I got to imagine that market is curious about the newest
Always,
advances
always.
because they
Who's got
compete, right?
who's got the shiniest toy today?
Right. I mean, like I talked to a guy who sells dentist supplies,
Hmm.
and dentists just love their dentist toys.
Oh, look at this cool X-ray machine. It goes
You know,
all the way around your mouth.
and he gets meetings just to talk about what's new,
Yep.
even
Yep.
though he knows that they can't afford it or they're not ready yet or they're just building their practice, but they all know each other.
Oh, it's the same in our world. And with what I do, there's three major companies, and the three major companies just who can get to where first.
Yeah.
And like the next big thing for us is artificial intelligence. Who can get there first? Well, we're there.
Yeah.
So all the doctors want to hear about it, and they all want to get
There
their
you
hands on
go.
it. It's fun. Like, and you just, hey, just want to show you what's going on in Europe because they do stuff first. Check this out. It's
Yeah.
coming. Coming.
So
So
the AI on like X-ray analysis and stuff.
it's more of literally when you go and do a procedure with the scope and the camera will see something. Let's say it's a polyp, and the camera will say that polyp's okay, you can leave it, or it'll say
Oh,
you need to take that polyp. Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Or it'll say, hey, you need to take that polyp out. It could be cancerous. So the doctor scoping it be like, well, what should we do here? Oh, we can move on, which can make procedures more efficient, faster.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
And what turns doctors on? Is it avoiding malpractice, or is it being able to get
Um,
more business, or
it depends. So you've got your private practice physicians that they just want they compete. It's just like what we do. They're selling their service. Why am I better than the doctor down the street? Right. And it's all about making sure that they're having malpractice. These guys are good at what they do, man. They really are. And it's just doing the best procedures they can and having a good reputation.
oh,
And I think that's their thing is they want to make sure that when someone goes, I went and saw Dr. So and so, they can refer to someone else. It's just like a sales guy, right? They want to make sure that people think highly of them.
and I'm sure like the new reps ask for help.
Oh,
What,
all
what do
the
they
time.
typically ask for?
What do you do? How are you? What do you
Can I
do?
get your script?
That's exactly right. Whenever we have calls, you say it's so easy. Well, what are you doing? And then it goes back to what you and I were just talking about. Don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Because once you start overcomplicating, you're gonna get yourself in a whole world of trouble. So it's always how do you do it? Like I had this doctor complain about this with the scope. What do you say? I go, well, why was he complaining about it? Was it anatomy of a patient? Was it the wrong scope for that case? What was it? And that's creating that need, finding out, asking those right questions, not just like, oh, the scope stinks. Well, why? What was it that you didn't like? Well, it wasn't stiff enough. Well, we probably should have used a different scope.
And is it your curiosity that thinks is that first step to engage in that conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just like, so how'd the scope do? No, it's fine. Well, why was it fine? Tell me about it. Tell me what made this scope work for you.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, tell me why so I can figure out what we can do different next time.
And when you're interviewing reps, I don't know if you do that or not. What do you look
I have.
for?
Mhm. Someone that I don't have to light a fire.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reps where they could be as smart as can be, but are they going to get out at 6:30 in the morning and drive 342 miles today? Or are they going to be the rep that I had nothing going on, so I'm just going to chill? Like people that are self-motivated,
Yeah.
and it's funny. I joke around with people with this, but I was a bartender in college and I worked at the Boys and Girls Club during the day because I was just motivated. Like, what am I going to do? I didn't, and those are the people that are fun to work with, right? Like, they might not have all the experience in the world. And I hate people saying, oh, I can't get into medical because I never worked there. Well, if you're motivated, then get out there and get the job. That's how
Well,
I got into it.
well, that's it. When I do talk to medical reps, they go, "Well, I don't have an MD or a biology degree, or I don't want have to get my master's." And I'm like, "Do you really think you need that?
I
Isn't
have a
there enough stuff
communications
on
degree.
YouTube?" You know?
I have a communications degree. Okay. Interpersonal communications was my degree. Um, and I just like talking with people. I like
Oh,
being around people. That's what I'm good at. I'm not an accountant. I can't crunch numbers. I don't like it. I don't like sitting at a desk. I like interacting with people and solving problems. That's what I like to do. And that's why I feel like I'm successful in my job.
and do you think that bartending experience helped?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, you're listening to problems, man.
You're reading people, right? When do they
That
want another drink? Are they hungry?
Do they want to talk? Do they just want to be left alone?
Yeah,
100%. And that's the same with you walk into a doctor's office and you can see the look on like, man, we're
you
packed today.
sense it.
Today's not the day to sit here and talk about stuff. Or we're slow.
Yeah,
Hey, they've had a rough day. Let's go in there and make them laugh.
yeah.
So absolutely.
And did you have that empathy, that curiosity before becoming a bartender?
I've always been that way, man.
Yeah.
I grew up with a single mom with a younger brother, much younger than me. And it was always, I guess I always had I'm a people pleaser, you know, I want to make sure everyone's happy. I don't
Yeah.
like people sad. I don't like, and that's could also be a fault, right? You just please people all the time. What about yourself? But yeah,
Well, that's hard because, because you do have a good service mentality. The problem with that in sales is you have to also sell something, right?
That's right.
You
You
just
got to
can't
ask
be
for the business.
right, because you're not in service solely. You're
Yep.
in sales that by servicing.
Well, it's funny because the deal I'm working on now that I was at this morning, you're absolutely right. It's one of those we've been doing this dance for a couple months now. So we got to end this dance. What are we going to do? And I had to have that conversation. I was like, listen, I truly enjoy helping you, and I truly enjoy what we're doing, but what's the next step? We have to make the next step. And I don't want to sound pushy, but now's the time. And they appreciate it. Hey, you know what? You're right. You got to ask for the business. And some people, a lot of newer reps, they want to build that relationship, and then they're afraid to ask because they feel like they're going to offend. You're not offending.
Well, right, because it's expensive. It's a big
Oh yeah,
step. There's risk. How do you
that's
get them focused on that? Like, why now versus 6 months or a year from now?
right. It depends on the situation, right? So, why now? Well, that's when you got to get your sales hat on and be like, well, right now it's the last quarter of our fiscal year. So why now? Because
That's
I can get you deals now that I can't get you in 6 months.
okay.
Or that's a big one, right? Or why now? Well, because I can finance this equipment now at a lower rate than I can in 6 months. Why now? Well, your scopes are going to keep breaking and you're going to keep dumping all this service money into it that you're going to get rid of in 6 months. So this is why we do it now.
And what worked on you when you were remodeling your house? Because it's the same type of thing. You kick the can down the street for another year or
Right?
so. What was it?
My wife said I want to do it, and I said okay. No, no. So what worked on me is the follow up on the people that I talked to, and the contractor that I chose was giving me different solutions. Hey, I know you want to do this, but I could do this and then add this over here because you're saving that money. And I was like, wow, because I don't know how to do that contracting stuff. But they were offering me ways to better the bathroom because that's what we remodeled by saving me money, which was fantastic. So that's why I went with them. They gave me solutions instead of just doing everything I wanted. Well, instead of doing that, let's do this instead, and then I can do that. Perfect.
Kind of walk you through the alternatives.
That's right. That's right. Which
Because
is really
usually the remodeling, it's not the materials. A lot of times it's the labor, and some things are easy to do, and some
yep.
things you care about, and a lot of things you don't.
Yeah, like and that's exactly right. Well, I can make this 7 feet tall or 6.5. I don't care. Just make it look. So yeah, I agree.
Cool. Hey, really appreciate your time today. Where can people go to connect and follow you?
I'm on LinkedIn. Check me out at Travis Luther. I don't do the Facebook. Sorry, I just don't do it. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn. And if anyone has questions about medical devices or sales, I'm very responsive. If it's just like a hey, who do I get an interview with? I can direct you to a website. So please just check me out.